do. I think the way that Erin creates Hallmark movies, like in a split second in her head, I create movie, drama, suspenseful soundtracks.
You're humming. You want to see a whole movie with just a humming soundtrack?
I'm just saying, if there was an AI app out there that could turn my humming into real orchestra arrangements, I would be the next John Williams.
I always thought of like an app or something that would you just either talk or make noises into it, and it turns it into an instrument sound.
That would be amazing.
I'm surprised that isn't a thing yet.
Some nerd is going to come up with it. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate it. Frankie C. Virginia Giuffre, we lost her on Thursday. We got the news Friday mid-show. We hadn't really had a chance to react to it outside of initial shock. So we'll do that here. And a lot of people are casting doubt on her passing, including her lawyer. So not just in our comment section, although a lot in our comment section. So we'll get a chance to batter that around and talk about that a little bit. Gene Hackman's full autopsy came in confirming our worst thoughts. So we'll share that with you.
Oh, good.
Plus 60 Minutes, the bomb they dropped on everybody just last night. We've got conclave dates coming up. Bill Belichick's new chick. All that.
Is it Belichick or Belichick?
It's Belichick, but I like to say Belichick's chick. I think that's cuter.
All right. You didn't misspell that on purpose, or you did?
That's how he spells his name. Belichick is spelled chick. Belichick. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Now we do. The more you learn. Do.
Isn't that something?
That was good. Not planned. Not written.
No. As if any of this is written.
That's true. Good point. Don't tell anybody I write some stuff beforehand. Hello to everybody in the live chat. So nice to see this crowd pouring in.
Hello.
On a Saturday. It's good to see everybody. The regular crowd shuffles in. All right, Virginia Giuffre, Frankie C. So we're doing the show Friday. We're live. Cuddles, producer extraordinaire. She pings me, hey, this is breaking right now. It turns out Virginia Giuffre lost her life, took her own life, right? Yeah. Passed away. Family announced that it had happened the day before, and the family put out a whole statement. We reacted. I wasn't expecting this. If you go back and you watch, I'm genuinely just sad about it. I'm a surprise. It's weird. I don't know. I do not know her personally, but I feel like we've covered her so much.
Yeah, we talked a lot about her, the whole situation and the whole trial, all this stuff that was going on. Yeah.
And we were rooting for her. And remember when she finally filed that lawsuit against Prince Andrew after all that time? It was just and she it was just such a whole thing. So I was genuinely sad to hear about her passing. And then wasn't expecting the avalanche of comments that came in. And most people were like, come on, Aunt, do you believe this? Or, and I'm like, it never occurred to me. Did it occur to you that there could be foul play at hand with this?
Didn't occur to you?
Isn't that weird? Not one bit.
What? Yeah, of course. Given the nature, she was a witness to all this. Not only a witness, but a victim.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, she's, you'd have some questions of she was young. How did she die? What do we know exactly?
Well, Epstein himself, the McAfee, you name all the things, and I can't believe it never did. It occur to you? Because we didn't really talk about maybe.
Yeah, it occurred to me. I didn't want to start talk about it on day one, right. But I thought, I'm sitting there going, that's kind of suspicious. I mean, there could be a chance in my head. I'm going, there's a chance that this wasn't, how they say, but do we know exactly what happened?
Still don't know exactly what happened, because the way we found out about this was through a family statement to People magazine. which is an interesting choice because when you're going to announce somebody's passing, you could literally do it a million different ways. You could just put it out on social media and let everybody pick it up. TMZ seems to be a popular one. People is an interesting choice. People pays for stories.
Yeah,
They all pay for stories.
I don't know if they how like which publications treated maybe that they were the nicest to her. Maybe they were treated her the best. Maybe that was
exactly. Yeah, exactly. There could have been a prior relationship there, and the family felt when it was time. Who do we call? Oh, those people. The people like people were nice to us. So yes,
people
exactly.
people.
Yeah, the people are people. So all of that, but I don't know. It just didn't occur to me. But when you say it, it's like, yeah, duh. All the people in that corner of the world, meaning everybody involved in this story, certainly had suspicious exits, right, from this world.
Yeah. Not only, there's still people. I mean, was her story, did she finish telling all her story? Or was there still more to be told?
Feels like there's a lot more. But to answer your question, so we only know what happened through a statement to the family.
Right.
Two additions to this. One is that the police in Australia have announced that they are launching an investigation into it. So if there was any sort of foul play or suspicion or just an air of suspicion, we're going to find out about it. I mean, the investigation, I'm sure, is going to unlock something. There's going to be some statement from the police, whether it's there's nothing here or there's something. We're going to find out.
When anybody passes away of unnatural causes, I guess there's got to be some kind of, well, let's look at, there's possible other things to look at. Sometimes it's not as straightforward as it seems. So yeah,
right.
you're gonna take some extra looks into stuff and see. You don't just take it at face value, and I'm sure the police know to do that.
Exactly. And then the second part of it is one of Virginia's lawyers, Kerry Loudon, put out a statement just a few hours ago, not that long ago before the show here, where she's basically casting doubt on what happened. She says, quote, "We've got big question marks over her passing."
Yeah.
Carrie she's claiming that Giuffre, 41 years old, showed no signs that she wanted to harm herself before being found dead. When she got the phone call, she said, quote, "I was like, are you joking?" Because there was no sign that there was something, that this was something that she was considering. This is what she told the Sun. Loudon represented Giuffre since January, expressing skepticism over her family's statement. She says, and I quote, "There's suicide and then there's misadventure. I didn't see her in the room. I wasn't there. The family said what the family has said, but I'm not going to speculate whether it was suicide or accidental." I don't know exactly what that means, but in my gut, well, she also said she was in a lot of pain, but she was looking forward to things in the future. She wanted to renovate this house and all sorts of things like that.
Could have been accidental, because depending on the manner of how she died. I mean, she was just in the hospital. Maybe she was on painkillers. Maybe she over medicated. It could have been anything. We don't know. It's all speculation. We don't know exactly how she died. So, we have no idea yet.
So we'll wait. We'll wait for the investigation, as Frankie C said, and of course, as soon as that comes around, we'll have more for you here, as we've been covering her and Jeffrey Epstein and all this crap since the very, very beginning. So we'll have it for you once it comes. But I don't know what. Can I tell you what? I mean, we could talk about this now for a minute or two before we move on. Gut instinct. I don't know. I just felt like the cry for help with the announcement of the accident and that she had 4 days to live and she just wanted to see her kids. Obviously, things had fallen apart between her and her husband. And there's lots of innuendo there on if there was physical abuse or just physical violence both ways between the two of them. Obviously, she had been through a lot. I don't know her husband at all. But her sister-in-law did speak out. So the woman who married Virginia's brother did put out a statement and spoke to people and said they were boilerplate stuff, or I'd share it with you. Basically, nothing shocking or surprising there, but that they had some troubles, and that was really it. It wasn't anything too revealing. Right. But just gut instinct of mine, I don't know. I just didn't get the feeling of foul play. That this could change. We could hear something, the police could find something, and we could think differently of it. Listen, if it was pills versus, a hang or whatever the case may be, that I would certainly have different thoughts on what caused all that stuff. Like you were saying, like if it was a pill thing, it could have been an accident. It could have been.
Could have been, but it could have been not who the hell knows? We don't know. It could have been, at this point, all we know is that she passed away and they're saying suicide. We don't know about how she died. We don't know who found her or what state she was in, or we really don't know anything at this point. We have nothing to go on.
I mean, think about it. We're both around the same age as her, right?
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm not on any medication right now, but I have definitely taken a vitamin again when I had forgotten that I had taken it that morning.
Yeah, but that's,
not that even two doses of a medication would kill you, but you never know if she's drinking or what. Who knows? Who
again,
really
we don't know. We don't know. And how much of whatever she was taking, and is that something that could happen by accident? Is it something that's like, even if you take 2 or 3, would it do that kind of harm? I don't know. We don't know what she was taking. If she was taking anything, we don't even know how she died. So again, this is all speculation.
But again,
can't go on anything yet.
She did. We know she had, was it liver or kidney? I forget what it was that put her in.
I feel like it was kidney.
It was kidney, right? So who knows if it was, who knows if she's got a damaged kidney, a couple of things the wrong way or whatever. Oh, could have been a bad reaction. Maybe she got bad medication from it. Could be a million things.
There are a million things until we get the full story.
Yeah. I hate to sound naive though, but again, I got to go by the gut. Gut tells me.
Yeah, but what is your gut basing it on? My lamp tells me another story. What do you want? What information does your gut have that we don't have?
My gut's basing it on its gut, because I got plenty of guts to go around. And
all right, guts for the table.
Guts for everybody. It just, I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I feel like she just couldn't take it anymore. You lose, everything that she'd been through her whole life, and then the husband, and then all of that.
I mean, could that but then again, she's been through a lot to get through all of that, and then just end it right. I get it. And then people are saying she wasn't, but you don't know. It's hard to pinpoint because
totally,
it's a question mark. I mean, was there a note? Was there any kind of anything other than what we know? I'm sure there's going to be more facts that come out as this progresses and as we get more info, but we don't even know how it happened, so we don't know anything yet. Yeah.
We don't know who found her, and that's all going to tell you a lot of things, because if the family called the authorities and they were calm and time had passed, that's one thing. If somebody calls and they're hysterical because they found her on the, or in the bed or the floor or wherever, the bathroom, whatever, that could tell a different story altogether. So we'll see.
We don't know what happened yet. It's still early. I mean, it's been 4 days. They still have to do a lot of investigating and
a lot, yeah.
But putting stuff together. So we won't know for a little bit.
But when we do know, you will know. That's the important thing. So make sure you subscribe to the show here on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, watching or listening. We're on them all. AnthonyDownHere.com has all our links if you're stumbling upon us for the first time. Speaking of taking a long time, Frankie C., Gene Hackman passed away in February. And here we are, April 28th, and we finally got the final autopsy on him.
What more is there to know? I feel like didn't we answer all these questions already?
Basically, the final autopsy, though, the story here is the final autopsy confirmed that in his toxicology report, it showed acetone. His levels of acetone was at 5.3 milligrams, which is consistent with prolonged fasting. So what we do know is that his wife passed away, and for days he wandered around that house and did not eat. So consistent with the reports that he had dementia and all this other stuff, like and then they could tell from his pacemaker when the last activity was, so they know the exact day that he died. They know that there was a really solid 3, 4, 5 day period where he did not eat anything. So the horror of him just wandering around that house, not knowing where he is and what's going on and where she is, like I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah, that has to be scary shit. That's terrible.
Because I wonder if he was scared. I wonder if he knew where he was. You know, did he find her and see her and try to go get help and then forget where he was and what he was doing? You know,
yeah,
who knows? But it's the worst thing ever. Like, I mean, not you know, because you eat a cracker and your blood sugar level will change as your body metabolizes any sort of food. So just for days, he didn't eat. I don't know if he slept. You know, did he wake up and do it all? Was it like 51st date? Not to make a joke. I'm just saying, was it like 51st dates where he was like waking up and like, okay, where's my wife?
Yeah, I mean, he was what, 95 years old.
Yeah.
He dementia, you know, he probably didn't know how to take care of himself at that point. So he was just left to his own devices and didn't really know how to, I'm sure, confusion, and didn't know how to do stuff or get the things that he needed done. And so that had to be, you know, what finally caught up to him.
Dementia and Alzheimer's. I don't know about you, but that's like my biggest fear. I just think it's the worst. I mean, I know there's horrible, there's horrible ways to go, but just to be with people that, you know, don't remember you and don't know who you are. It's so fucking heartbreaking.
It really is.
It's so fucking heartbreaking. I've had a little bit of experience with that in my like extended family, and it's just, ugh. If I ever get Alzheimer's, Frank,
I'll take care of you.
Put a pillow over my face while nobody else is around. Nobody's going to blame you for it. Believe me.
That's right. Oh, so I'm not taking care of you. I'm taking care of you.
Taking care of business. This is, you know, all right. 60 Minutes last night, dropping bombs.
Yeah, what they said, something about that parent company. What was going on there?
Yeah, so basically the executive producer, so Scott Pelley delivered this story, which was nobody really saw it coming, and it made pretty much huge waves. But Scott Pelley sits down, they have like the last minute on 60 Minutes is like a feature, like where they just say a little something. And he goes on to discuss Bill Owens, who is the executive producer for 60 Minutes, who submitted his resignation last week. And he goes on to tell everybody that basically CBS's parent company, which is Paramount now, they're trying to complete a merger. And you know, whenever these big media conglomerates need a merger, they always need to have governmental approval, you know, because of monopolies and all that. These things can get complicated. So it's the government that says, okay, yes, this, or sell off this thing, or do that, or whatever. But what Bill Owens in particular objected over was the fact that Paramount was a lot more, as Scott Pelley described it, heavy-handed in overseeing the content that 60 Minutes was doing. Now, the background of this is, of course, the Kamala Harris interview that the Trump administration is suing them over, right? There was that whole thing that's going on. And since that happened, so now Paramount turns around and goes, all right, well, we need the administration's approval on this, and they're suing us. So we're going to just keep an eye on what they're doing. Now, Scott Pelley said that they hadn't objected to anything. They haven't told Bill Owens or him or anybody on 60 Minutes, hey, you can't do this story. But it was more like they just wanted to know what was happening, and they were more on top of it. And he felt like basically they're setting it up for a situation that's going to be uncomfortable or going to lead to some sort of, censorship because they had to get this deal through. This is not the first time I've heard this. We've seen this in other cases. I remember when Sirius and XM merged, just because we're radio nerds and shit like this comes out in the trades. But there was a lot of talk, and I even heard somebody that I know who worked there like kind of confirmed it. They were like, ease off on the political stuff. Don't like all the
How could that be though? I mean, isn't that
well, it was
the
like
literal definition of the First Amendment is
exactly
you can talk about your government?
Yeah, but that was I forget who was in office during that merger. I want to say it was Obama, but it was like it wasn't like, oh, Obama's going to nix this, so be nice to Obama. It was more like easy on the political stuff because we need the politicians on our side. Don't do anything controversial. In fact, I think that might have been one of the times where the member Opie and Anthony, one of them got fired during that whole time. There was something that they did or they suspect. I forget what it was, but it was basically like, we're trying to merge. Nobody make any noise. Everybody keep us under the radar so we can get this thing passed. The concerning thing with this though is, and I understand they want to lay low, and technically they didn't do anything yet. So perhaps Bill Owens was overreacting. But we also don't know what Bill Owens knows, right?
Well, what did he say? Could we have the clip?
No, we have. I can bring up what Scott Pelley said, but I don't know what Bill Owens what he said or what happened to him. I don't. He's not talking.
Who was the guy on the last minute of 60 Minutes that was like
Scott Pelley?
Scott Pelley. Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody's reacting to that. Let's hear what he had to say, because it sounded like it was something like he's calling out his parent company for something, and I didn't hear it. So I'm not sure exactly what he said.
I'll play it for you. It's exactly that. It's basically exactly what you said, but you're right. We should share it with the people. Frank, they shouldn't have to deal with my editorialized bullshit.
Nobody wants to hear you summarize.
Nobody wants to
hear your 10-minute summary of a 1-minute clip.
To be fair, not that I want to pile on the 60 Minutes people, but it's a minute 49. So that whole last minute thing is kind of bullshit. I'm just saying, kind of bullshit. All right, here you go. Here's the
fast and loose with that minute word.
Last minute of 60 Minutes.
Of course, they got to put
a all right.
Let's count how many in that. That big pharma here, big fucking pharma.
Reliable coverage for your whole life ahead.
By the way, very jealous of the ticking clock thing. What an iconic sound, right?
Absolutely. They nailed it and they haven't. That's been consistent for like 40 years or however long they've been doing this thing.
Like 10-10 wins with the still typing in the back. I think they got rid of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think 10-10 wins does the typing in the background anymore.
You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Oh my god,
I still listen to them.
Do you really?
I do.
That's awesome.
They're good.
That's awesome. I moved out to the sticks, so I unfortunately am not in their signal area anymore.
In tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. Bill was with CBS News nearly 40 years.
Look at that guy. Tell me that guy doesn't fuck. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I guess.
News producer. Could you imagine how much pipe that guy has laid over the course of his career? Look at him with his handsome suit and his big money.
26 years at 60 Minutes. He covered the world.
You know that TV money was big in the 80s and 90s, for Christ's sake. I mean, that guy's probably banking that whole shit.
That guy looks like the kind of guy that has a full bar in his office.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the globe. He opens the globe up and there's a scotch in there. That's the kind of guy that guy was.
Sit down. We have to talk. You want to drink first? That's it. Yeah.
Let me freshen that up for you.
Yeah.
9 a.m.
Classy. He gets his executive assistant to get ice. It's like, Timmy, we get some ice in here? Thanks, buddy. That kind of guy.
Running low on vermouth.
The White House, his was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here.
Have you ever worked for a boss in radio that you had admired? I didn't have one. Maybe I had one that was close.
Yeah, but, no, I know what I pick up what he's putting down.
Yeah, really? Because every boss I had in radio, I've just been, I can't stand.
They're all jerks?
Yeah, a lot of them were mean and not kind and stupid.
Yeah, you get those, sure.
Most of them.
Yeah, sure, but there's a few.
So we work for a lot of the same people. So who the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. We admire different people. What do you want me to tell you?
maybe after I was gone and you worked for them, maybe it was different. They were like, "Holy shit, we got rid of that asshole. Now I can relax a little."
There are also a lot of people above us, so it's not like it was 2 or 3.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, people would come in and tell us what to do. It'd be like, "Who? I forget.
Which department are you? Oh, yeah. The one that's above me. Got it."
Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us. And
he said hard on.
I was going to say the same thing, but you had the control of the pause button.
Sorry, that was rude of me to stop and say it first. I could have paused it. You probably would have jumped in. I'm sorry.
No, you nailed it.
Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along. I'm Scott Pelley. We'll be back next week.
By the way, Scott Pelley fucks too. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy in like a t-shirt. He's fucking ripped.
I have not.
Oh my God.
Guy in a t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't know who his wife or husband is, but they must fucking get it from Scott. I can't imagine. J-Sabs must be. Don't you think that he's right, like down her alley?
Oh, that's quintessential J-Sabs prime beef there.
Yeah, my apologies to J-Sabs for taking her shtick, but I bet you this guy fucking lays it down in the bedroom. Anyway,
he's got that voice for 60 Minutes. It's like, yeah.
Where do you want me to put this thing? Tell Scott Pelley. You know, that kind of shit. Yeah.
You've got me for 60 Minutes.
Shit. Meanwhile, I can't last the last minute. That's my problem. I can't get past that.
Well, you're going if you time your minutes like 60 Minutes does, you can go 1:40.
That's true. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for you know what? Thanks for
gotta help you out a little.
Yeah. Beefing me up there a little bit. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So I don't know. Overreaction, or is it the kind of thing where he's been in it for 40 years and he's like, hey, I'm not gonna fucking put up with this bullshit. If you're not gonna do it the way I want to do it, you're gonna start looking over my shoulder even before you say anything. Go fuck yourself.
And he's probably, guy's been there 40 years. He's probably in a position where he doesn't have to listen to anybody anymore. He could be like, if I want to leave tomorrow, I'm going to leave tomorrow. You just gave me the excuse to end my career after 40 years.
Yeah.
So he's probably looking to retire.
Yeah.
But I could, you know what? Journalistic integrity is a huge thing. And if he sees the writing on the wall is not leading his organization down the right path, then yeah, I don't blame the guy.
Yeah, because not for nothing, but the Trump administration has gotten a little too, what's the word I want to say, like handsy when it comes to this. What did you say?
Fascist?
Yeah, like the other day, I didn't have a chance to fully look into it, which is why I don't really want to bring it up, but I did get a clip of Candace Owens, who has been, one of the many right-wing people that are just up his ass for everything.
Oh.
She was criticizing him for coming down on colleges for what they could say and what could be said on campus, and again, usually I like to look into these things and read all sides of it before I come to the show with an opinion on it. So keep that in mind. I'm just telling you what Candace Owens said, who is a constant supporter of his, which is that him and the administration is overstepping here when it comes to First Amendment rights.
They've been overstepping for years.
And it is a little like, and she was commenting specifically on, them withholding financial aid for,
it's fascism. You can't legal protest. You can't say, oh, you can't protest or we're going to hold your funding, or you have to teach this certain thing or we're going to hold your funding. That's not how this works. That's how fascism works. You can't have the government saying, teach these things.
Yeah.
Or you're done. That's literal fascism. That's how they do it in dictatorships. You say you're teaching what we tell you to teach, and no, you can't teach this because it doesn't align with my political beliefs. You can't do that in a democratic society. That's not how it works. Teachers teach their curriculum. It's based on, peer reviews and studies and all this stuff. And you can't have the government say, nope, can't teach that. You have to teach this, because then it becomes, like I said, a dictatorship, and you can't dictate what's being taught, because then you start down that road of, well, if they can stop this, then they could stop the next thing, and if they could stop us from learning, what's to stop them from saying, from going, oh well, evolution, we're just going to stop teaching that, or we're going to stop teaching this about science or this about math, and they're just making people, just lowering the education bar more and more. And so people don't know how to fight back, and don't know, it's a dangerous avenue to go down. So
yeah, it is. It's very, very, very tricky. I wish, though, it's funny, more than that, and I agree with everything you just said, but more than that, I just wish, I just feel like college and universities is something we need to fix, like, in this country. Like, you look at how much it costs to run these universities, and like, I understand, not that I want to peel open this whole thing, but like, schools with huge football programs and basketball programs and, whatever, baseball, whatever, they pay some of these coaches millions of dollars. You're paying these professors hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's administrators on top of there's all these costs and fees that have bloated the college education to so much. And they have all these people taking out all these loans, and it's gotten out of control to the point where none of this makes sense. It doesn't make sense to go to a decent mid-level college. If you're going to tell me Harvard, Yale, all these things are up here, there's a lot of schools that are not as prestigious as that, but are good schools. And the difference between a really good school and your community college right now, there's not much of a difference there. And you got people going to these schools going, well, we're not a community college, so go here, study finance, take out that $60,000 loan, and you're going to be okay. And you know what? That's just not the case. And part of that reason is because of the bloating of salaries and administrative fees and all this stuff to get these colleges to where they are now. It's not something, I wish we could get back to keeping those state schools, highly regarded, you know what I mean? Keeping them free. We were talking about free, like, obviously, if you go to a state school and you live in that state, you're paying less tuition than you would than somebody from out of state or whatever. But make them free. Stop overly doing it with the sport. And I love sports, but it's
once you say, oh, it's going to be free, then you got the right coming at you with, oh, what are you, a communist? Everything's going to be free. We're going to be handed to you, and you're going to have socialism. And it's like, well, no. I mean, there are free things that you take advantage of every day. So don't give me that shit.
Yeah, it's true. And people forget what people forget most about that stuff is, you're not competing amongst the other colleges. It's America competing against India, China, England, Japan, Canada. You want good free education in this country for its citizens so that we stay intellectually superior to the other people in the world.
Ideally. However, when you have, I don't want to go down this road again, but when you have a government who's literally dismantling the Department of Education, who wants to close it all down,
I give you that, but this was happening long before Trump got elected. Like this has been ballooning and getting out of control for the college, the tuitions and all that stuff. I'm saying has been out of control for the longest.
Tuition's always been out of control. I think a big solve for that, two big solves for that would be one, tax the millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah,
you could solve so many problems if they just paid their fair share. So many problems, and two, there are so many colleges that have these sports. I mean, college basketball is probably the biggest sport. It's probably bigger than a lot of professional sports that are out there in terms of popularity and the ability to bring in money. And then you have the schools that run these college basketball teams. Are they bringing in? Is the school, how much of that money is going to the students, and how much is going to the people running these sports programs?
Right.
So there's probably millions of dollars being made by one school based on their basketball team. And if you look at the students that are on the basketball team, they're probably not getting a penny off of the advertising and all the stuff that's going. Yeah, they're not making any money. These students, even though they're the draw.
And that's recently changed. Like I think they're getting percentages now of like their name and likeness if it gets used in the video games or jersey sales and shit like that.
Well, that's one thing, but this sheer fact that it's on television, and you're bringing in all this money and ticket sales and this and that and all these bets and the billions of dollars that the college basketball industry is worth. And I'm sure the students are making, if anything, I don't even know if they get paid to play. They probably have to pay to play.
Some of them do. Paul's funny here. Nobody cares about intellectual pursuits. Folks just want to tailgate. That's so true. That's so true. You know, it's funny. I'm not even saying, listen, it's funny. I go down to visit my parents in Florida, and, Frank and I grew up in New York, right?
Yep.
Frank started in Brooklyn, so even worse. But you come outside of, because here it's Mets, Yankees, it's Giants, Jets. We're professionally sports obsessed. Our colleges are afterthoughts. But other parts of the country, like the Florida Gators,
we got big. St. John's is huge. We got some good colleges. NYU.
Yeah, but not in comparison to the Mets.
Oh, there's a lot of other big,
or the Knicks. Yeah. So, and the fact that we have multiple sports teams in each sport that are competing against each other, and they're still selling out stadiums and arenas, it doesn't leave a lot for the colleges, even though we have a ton of people. But the point is, like, you go to the University of Kentucky, that's it. That's the game. It's Kentucky, it's the Florida Gators, it's Notre Dame. It's like all these colleges are these people's in this area's like whole life. So they're huge. So what I'm saying is I don't mind those huge schools who are drawing huge numbers, having huge sports programs with coaches that make millions of dollars, if it's fair. Is that sport that's generating that millions of dollars, is that going to fund all the rest of the sports that the kids are enjoying? Great. Once you're done with that, you got money left over, you got some gravy left over, then that's what you can pay that coach. Outside of that, not a dime from the science program or whatever else should be going and being funneled towards hiring that insane coach. And when you look at the huge schools like Purdue and Penn State and all these things, a lot of them can get away with it, and it works. But again, I'm talking about those next level tier schools that are hiring coaches for like $1 million a year. Okay, it's not Mike Krzyzewski or some of these huge legendary basketball college coaches, but they're paying a lot for these mid-level coaches. Are they really getting are they reaping the benefits of that, or are they just overpaying because they're trying to become the next, Florida Gators or whatever? It seems out of whack.
Well, this is good news. Thank you, Will. He wrote, they literally just created a program called NIL so that student athletes can get paid while they're going to school. That's good. I didn't know that. So
that's what I was talking about. That's
called.
Will, do you know, I know they get like video game, like if they're video games and jerseys, I don't know if they're getting TV revenue or whatever. They're making some money now, but again, it's not like,
I mean, not that long ago, it was, they got nothing.
Flat.
And they're the big draw. It's college basketball. That's billions of dollars that that brings in every year, and the athletes were getting nothing.
And not only were they getting nothing, but the coach was making millions upon millions.
Yeah,
the crazy hypocrisy part of it all. It just seemed nuts.
So.
But anyway, people forget though, prior to, I want to say maybe it was Reagan, a lot of college tuition at the state school level was free. I believe it. We had a lot more free universities in this country pre-Reagan. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. And I just wish we would get back to some of those fundamentals that made us great back in the day.
Yeah, well, that's a very democratic thing of paying for programs, funding government-funded programs, free college, free tuition, free, all these kinds of things. And, that's something that I don't think Republican side is going to be like, yay, let's give free college. I don't think they want anything like that. I don't know, for some reason.
Oh, no, they were thrilled to stop the thing that Biden was doing to forgive the loans. They were thrilled to stop that, not realizing here's the thing. And again, this is what Republicans are great at. Trump and his administration, they're great at this. They are great at swinging the narrative in their direction and getting their people to agree with and believe
they
in
spin it in a way. They spin it in a way, it's going to help you. And then in the long run, it won't.
Right.
Because in the long run, you're losing out on education and you're losing out on all these great things that you could be getting and benefiting from. But for right now, you don't want this. So trust me, you don't want this. Why? Because the Democrats want it. And if the Democrats want it, well, then it's got to be bad, right? Because they're communists and we don't want communism. It's like, shut up. You're an idiot. Stop peddling bullshit.
And the way they swung this one was, hey, Joe Plumber, you shouldn't have to pay for those elite East Coast people's educations. It's like, not really, though, because everybody has to deal with this scam. I mean, college is a scam. To a degree, it is a scam. Everybody says, go to the school, get the degree, take the loan, you'll make more money. And that is not, again, I can only speak for myself, but during Frank and I's time, when did we graduate college? 2004? Yeah. Not an overwhelming economic opportunity over the course of our lifetime. I felt like we've really had to show. And by the way, and it's not just us, there are studies showing that a vast majority of our generation is doing far worse than our parents were doing at our ages. And most of that generation didn't go to college. They were in the trades. They weren't in the skills.
That's the thing. Now there are more. I think colleges maybe are starting to gear their education a little more toward specified education. So, like, if you wanted to be a computer programmer, if you want to be an astronaut, you go to specific college for those types of things. I think, it was probably always like that, but I think now this one's more known for this one's more known for that. So, depending on what you want to do, college could be great. College could, if you want to be,
right.
If you want to be an electrician, you got to go to school for that. Do you have to go to 4 years of college? I don't know.
Doesn't seem like it.
You got to go to school to learn what you have to learn. But what if the electrician business fails you and now you got to learn something else? So it's. I'm not against college. I'm not. I don't think it's a scam. I think it's the price tag is a bit high on a lot of these schools.
Right.
But I think college, more education can only help.
It depends. Like, again, you said electrician. Now electricians have to go to school for 4 years. Is that necessary? Because I know that, like, the people who worked on my house when I was a kid probably went to maybe a 2-year university if they went, but they went to a school to learn,
I don't know what's required to be an electrician. I don't know. Maybe you have to do 4 years. I don't know. But there are certain jobs that you probably don't have to do for it. You could go to a trade school and learn how to be a butcher, and you don't have to do 4 years at a huge university for thousands and thousands of dollars. You can go to trade school and learn that, and that's your job, and you get great benefits and whatever. But if that's what you want to do, then college might you don't have to go to college, so it's fine. But if you want to be a pilot in the Air Force, or if you want to be an astronaut, or if you want to be a doctor, you're going to have to go through college. So
yeah. But there's a ton that I read on this, and Scott Galloway is brilliant in this area. He's got a great podcast and good follow on social media. He talks about the transfer of wealth in the country and how and where it's at, and it's from the stock market to companies and CEOs just thinking short term for short term gains. Again, for the stock market, there's not this long term runway for younger generations, and they're saying these even younger generations are even more in trouble. It's crazy. Young people are not having sex. Isn't that strange? Like the 20-year-olds out there, they're not dating, they're not sleeping around, they're not even consuming alcohol as much. I talk to the people.
They're a man of the people.
There was this crazy in the same 60 Minutes show last night. They did this whole story on how in Japan the population is declining, and basically people aren't there. If 20%, I forget what age it was, 24 or whatever, people were still virgins at the age of 24. That number was 20% of 24-year-olds like 30 years ago. Now that number is 40%. 40% of 24-year-old or 22, whatever the number was, doesn't matter. The point is it's doubling the amount of people that are not getting out there, dating, living life, having sex, making mistakes, right? Doing all that kind of stuff. They're just not. And a lot of people are saying it's because, and Scott Galloway is brilliant in this area, and I totally agree with him 1,000%. They're saying young men can't go out there and earn a living at a young age, right? A lot of people make their way, back in the day, it was by the time they were 28, they were maybe set up and ready to go, house, maybe car, all that stuff. They got one job. You had one person working in a household, bought a house, bought a car, was able to go on modest vacations. Now every household is two people working, everybody's scrunching and saving. Some people are doing more than one job, to make it all work. And the young kids can't make the money that they could make at their age. So they don't feel like I can go out. I can go take people out on a date. I can spend this money. I can impress people. And, it really, in heterosexual couples, it affects that in a major way because like the men are seen one way. Women view men as what's the potential in his future ability to provide. Right. Like a lot of women will judge if they want to jump into a relationship with a male based off of that. Like, oh, I think he can provide one day and protect. And like, there's certain things that men inertly do. Right.
I honestly don't see this negatively.
You think people need to fuck less?
I think, populations are spiking and, if people aren't, I don't know. It's like there's got to be there's a breaking point at some point. Like you're saying, back 60 years ago, one person worked, took care of the whole house. It was enough for everybody, and then some. Now, two people work, no kids, one kid, two kids, and they're working like crazy, and they're barely getting by. There's got to be a breaking point where the volcano explodes, and then we have to start with, all right, we got to usher some more wealth back into the population, or else, because everything keeps going up, but this keeps the people are making us staying still, and eventually it's going to have to be like, whoop, we got to get back to everybody's being able to live comfortably, so we can all survive and procreate and like the baby boom. We got to be able to get back to where people are comfortable living with two people and 3-4 kids. If the goal is more population, great. But we have to be able to support that family. So I think it's going to reach a point where the people that are struggling, there's got to be a breaking point where the economy is just going to overflow in some way. And that lower middle class has got to be injected, invigorated, and infused with more capital.
Has to be.
Because otherwise, what's going to happen? You know, what's the alternative? The alternative is the rich get richer, the poor are going to struggle until they, you know, picture what it's like. If it keeps going this way, what?
The poor are going to struggle until
they can't make it anymore, until it's over.
And historically in society, what happens when the peasants
uprising, revolution,
start burning down some shit? Yep.
But you know, once I feel like I think a looming breaking point would be to get the rich to pay their. I mean, why? That just seems like a no-brainer. I mean, it's not just like we're not asking for millionaires and billionaires to pay more than their fair share. We're asking them to pay what we're all paying. The same shit. Yeah. We're all on the same. We're all on the same lifeboat here. But we all got to paddle the same strength. We all got to move the boat the same way. So if you're putting in your 10% and I'm putting in my 10%, we're going to get there. But if I'm putting in 10% and you're not putting in any, we're not going to get there. So we all have to put in the same amount. There was a guy on Jon Stewart. I don't know his name. He was saying that if millionaires and billionaires just paid their fair share, not more. We're not asking them to pay more. Paid their fair share, we'd be able to solve homelessness in the country. Solve it. Done.
Oh,
no more homelessness.
We're at a $2 trillion deficit.
Yeah,
that would not be an issue. $2 trillion would not be an issue.
There would be so many problems solved. I don't mean like it'll put a dent in it or it'll help. We'll put it towards this. Solved. If all they had to do is pay their pay, then we'll worry about the next thing.
Yeah,
but we could solve so much.
And I have long said the one. I mean, and Frank's got a lot more than one. But the one long-standing issue I have with this Trump administration, you talk about making cuts and dealing with foreign aid. What they're not dealing with is the tax that the wealthy pay. Also, I think we're going to have to come to an agreement on our defense spending, because I have no problem spending way more than the next 46 countries combined, but we could probably if we went down to the next 40 countries combined, I think we'll still be okay.
We're going to be fine.
We'll have that deficit thing solved.
No, but let's cut cancer research. We don't.
Trista says, just pay your fair share. She totally agrees, but we got to get to some of these comments, Frank, because they're really, really good. Will says, everybody's having sex. They're all just pulling out.
Could be.
Hey, I'm on board with that. We don't want parents who don't want to be parents. That's usually, and younger parents, that could be an issue. So
true.
That's definitely a good thing. Paul, easier to stay in sweats in the basement. Well, that was what they were saying in Japan. People were just more, it sounds cliched, but on their devices.
Technology, sure.
Who was this one guy married? He had like this whole anime character. Like he had like a life-size doll of the anime character that he like dressed up and is in a full relationship with, like one of those dudes, and flying away was overpopulated. Well, there's some issues with overpopulation in the world. But like you look at a country like Japan and they're like panicking because there's like a brain drain. If you don't have X amount of young people being born, it's not now, but 22 years from now, if the United States of America has 40 million 22-year-olds out there trying to invent something, start a company, create a whatever, solve cancer, whatever, that their percentages are really good. If you are supposed to have 22 million and you only have 14 million, that's going to fucking hurt your country overall. It may not seem like it or be obvious, but it is. That could be less industry started, less experiments, less, scientific breakthroughs. All of that can be affected if you don't have as many players in the game. So that's why they're so frightened. They started their own government dating website. They have they're trying to make it so that you don't work crazy hours, that you could literally go out. There's bars in Japan that are one person only. Like you cannot go with your wife, husband, significant other. It's you single, you can come here. If you're not, you got to go somewhere else because they're so desperate to have people meet each other and mate and start a life.
I'm all for it as long as the resources are there and we're able to take care of all these people. We're not just filling our country or any country up with people that are going to be living on the streets and poor and destitute.
Yeah.
So as long as the country is viable and able to do that, great, more the merrier. But
how sad it was in this one country, in this one town in Japan. A guy who was born and raised there, he started making life-size Muppets and just leaving them around town because the town, everybody left, and nobody was. So it had become so desolate that he just decided to start doing this, and people were like, "Oh, this is great. Feels like there's people around." I'm like watching this, going, "This is the saddest shit I've ever seen."
Where is this?
It was some town in Japan. It was on 60 Minutes. Everybody could look it up. I forget what it was. But this whole story, and this guy's like, yeah, it feels like there's people. Like he puts people on like the swing set in town and puts them on like the bus stop, bench and everything.
Is he the only one left? Why doesn't he leave? Sounds like it's a ghost town waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think their population was like 56 or something, and then they showed there was one kid born in that town recently, and they showed the kid. They were like, "Here's Carl," The
they probably had a huge party for him.
Yeah,
the whole town got together.
I was just like, "Oh, little Carl's graduating class is going to be very sad."
Oh boy,
yeah, it was a little tough thing, but
anyway, yeah, bring more people, the merrier. Just, as long as we're not. As long as everybody can have, a fair share of at life, then great.
Well, it's hilarious. I mean, you've heard about this too. They're making Hallmark movies. Tell Aaron to write this down. They're making Hallmark movies over like move back to. Remember that story? Like move to Italy and we'll pay you, whatever to, because they were trying to just infuse people back into their small towns. And then you look at us, like people say we're overpopulated. New York City is definitely overpopulated. You look at India; they're worried about overpopulation. China. Just like, can we even some of these things out?
Come over here, go over there. Yeah, spread out a little. That's fine. Love it.
I'm always worried that like between China and India, we're heavy on one side. I think our rotation's getting fucked up because there's too many people in one spot.
I saw a thing. It's a meme, so take it for what it is. I don't know how accurate it is, but it was just a globe or a map with a circle around parts of Asia. It was like, it covered China, parts of India, and it just like it was a circle, and it said a quarter of the world's population lives in this circle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the rest is, all the other continents, so Australia, Europe, Africa, Americas. And so it's just a lot of people packed into one area. So
yeah,
it's weird.
Nuts. It's nuts. Conclave, Frankie C, that's starting up May.
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, I thought you meant the movie.
Oh, I saw the movie over the weekend.
Did you? How was it?
It was great. They acted the shit out of it. Ray Fiennes, Harry and the Hendersons. What's his name?
Right. John Lithgow.
Thank you, John Lithgow. Stanley Tucci. Everything Stanley Tucci is. That guy gives me an actor erection. Like when I didn't know he was in it, and in the first scene I saw him, I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be great.
He was in Jury Duty with Pauly Shore.
That's right.
Which is an underrated movie, in my opinion.
It is. I totally forgot that Stanley Tucci was in that. He has come a long way.
He's also in The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
He was great in The Terminal.
Yeah, Medicine for Goat.
Medicine for Goat. The first thing I remember seeing him in was Nicolas Cage, the winning the lottery movie.
Oh, it could happen to you.
Okay, and then the waitress he falls for, her ex-husband is Stanley Tucci. He's in it for like maybe a scene or two. He's such a douchebag. He plays like the douchebag ex-husband that won't leave,
Sure.
Yeah, and he's in that. He's really good. I forgot he was in Jury. Oh my God, from Jury Duty to basically being everybody's idea of a sophisticated middle-aged male. I mean, he's like
to Conclave with Ray Fiennes and John Lithgow.
Yeah.
I acted alongside Pauly Shore back in the 90s.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything about the movie. Are you going to watch it? You think you might watch it? I don't want to ruin it.
Watch it. Yeah, don't ruin it.
I won't say anything. The acting was great. The acting was phenomenal. Fucking Ray Fiennes. Did he win an Oscar for that? He should have. I forget who won the Oscar. I feel like him and Lithgow were up for it, or that movie was nominated.
What's his name?
Chalamet?
No. No. What's his name for The Brutalist?
The Brutalist. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Forget his name.
Yeah. No, he was good too. He's always good.
Didn't see The Brutalist. You?
It was the second. I didn't see it, but that was the second time he played.
That was The Pianist. Is the other time he won.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if he was if this movie was nominated. Well, anyway,
it was his name. It's gonna kill me.
Somebody's gonna have it in the chat.
I don't know. Keep going. I'll get it.
Well, anyway, watch it. Watch Conclave. It was good. I might have gotten hyped up on it too much. Everybody's like, you gotta watch. Now's the time to watch, by the way. Uncle B with the win.
Adrian Brody, very good.
Thanks, Uncle B. Adrian Brody. Yeah. So it was good. But anyway, real life Conclave, Papalpalooza, as we're gonna call it, May 7th. The Cardinals are gonna gather and they're gonna pick the next Pope on May 7th. So you gotta watch. So Frank, you got over a week to get the Conclave in, because I'm telling you, if you wait when this is all over to watch Conclave, it ain't gonna be as good.
Not gonna have the same. This is a once in a in a generation. This movie comes out when we need a new pope. This is like an eclipse. At the same time, a meteor shower. I don't know. It's like something.
I don't know if anybody was celebrating the Pope's death besides the folks at Amazon, because they were like, "Oh fuck, we got Conclave. We are exclusive to put this." And it's fucking front and center. I got a notification. I can't remember the last time I got a notification from Amazon Prime. They were like, "Hey, Conclave's here. Don't forget."
Yeah, they woke up the intern that was supposed to send out notifications. Hey, we got one. Send this out.
Send this shit out. Now's the time. So yeah, so they might be the only people excited over this whole thing. But yeah, so we'll see. I think we're going to get into this in a big way. People seem to get caught up in this. I'm excited about Papalpalooza. So as we get close to May 7th, we'll run out the odds and who we think has a shot at winning and all that.
I know nothing about any of them, but I'm hoping for a good one.
No, neither do I. But you know what? We'll study up. We'll share the stats with the people. We'll give everybody the tail of the Tate. See who's got the longer reach and to God. And so I guess it should go up this way. The longer reach.
Yeah, where were you going?
I was boxing reach, but we'll reach to God. Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see again. The one that we just had, his name was Pope
Francis.
Thank you. First Pope from the Americas. So that was a big deal. He was
also first Pope in, I forget what the number, but a very long time to be buried outside of the Vatican. It's like in hundreds of years or something.
Yeah. That's what I liked about him. I think a lot of people like that. He was like, fuck all this shit. I'm just going to be a Pope of the people.
Yeah, he didn't take, I think he was worth, after he died, they found his net worth was like $100.
That's awesome. Me too. So we got something. Yeah. It's the only thing I have in common with the Pope.
That's it.
That's basically it. Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Frankie C. Last story of the podcast here. Bill Belichick, famed coach of the New England Patriots, won a whole bunch of trophies, Super Bowls. Not as great as Tom Brady, who left him to win another Super Bowl with the Bucs. He's got a new girlfriend. He's got a new job. He's the University of North Carolina's football coach, I think, which was kind of a weird thing for everybody that he didn't land another NFL job.
Yeah, isn't that a bit of a downgrade?
It is a bit of a downgrade. Some coaches do it. Some coaches don't want to hear, some coaches who don't want to deal with professional athlete bullshit, they'll go to college because it's like at college, those guys need to play. But
why wouldn't you just retire? I guess he just wants to keep coaching.
Probably. And I was surprised that when he sat out for a year, and I was like, I can't believe nobody's hiring him. And then in a year, I'm like, somebody's going to give him a job to run a team. And then he went to college. I was like,
who could afford him? I don't know what his asking price is.
I don't know, but he's got a new girlfriend named Jordan Hudson, and he wrote a book, and in the book he put that Jordan Hudson was his muse. And so this is a clip from CBS Sunday Morning, which I love. And I found this clip particularly interesting on how this broke out. It's about a minute or so, maybe a little longer, but take a listen to this portion of the interview where they're discussing his new relationship. By the way, he's like 60 years older than her. I mean, it is insane. She's 24 and he's, let me see, 70.
112.
He's 73. She's 24. It's a little gross. Again, she's
73 to 24. That's almost 50 years.
Yep, 49 years. Yeah.
49 years.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give Frankie 5 points for that math. That was quick on the spot. I'm impressed with that. That was pretty damn good. Yeah.
That's great.
So take a listen to what unfolds during the course of this interview here.
His creative muse, as he writes in his book.
Make sure that that's the...
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace.
What do you think about that little?
That's very, what's it called? What's his name? Reality show. Who's the guy? I'm blanking on his name now. The 30 Rock.
Adrian Brody?
Yeah.
Damn. I thought that was it. 30
Alec
Rock.
Baldwin.
Oh, Alec Baldwin. Yeah.
I'm talking now.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. But this, it's okay. I mean,
well, Alec Baldwin, I'm with you there, but I feel like she's just nasty.
Yeah.
That was curt, but it was more like hey, I'm controlling the situation.
Well, the focus was on her. She was talking. I kind of get that.
Yeah.
But this was this is your interview, but I'm gonna. Did he look over to her? Belichick?
The interviewer definitely did. Let me see. Let me go back.
Like, how did you meet? And then
Not talking about this.
No.
He does.
No.
It's a topic neither one of them.
What?
I mean, did they look over for her input, or did she just?
Oh no, she just said it. Yeah. Here, watch again.
In it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No.
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I honestly here, little Kurt, little whatever. It's happened before. I mean, you've done a lot of interviews. I don't know if you've had one interrupted. I've had an interview interrupted. Not uncommon. The thing that really weirded me out was the fact that she put it out on Instagram herself.
Oh, so what? How did they meet? I mean, it's out there, right?
I don't know, because listen, this is
on. Though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
So I don't know. I didn't care to look. Because I don't give a shit. Fucking how they met.
Yeah, I don't care either.
But if it didn't bother her enough that she would put it out on Instagram, why not give it to the interviewer? I don't get that.
That's a weird. Unless there was some edit that we're not seeing, but I don't know. That's a weird stance to take, and especially if you put it out there. I don't get that.
And here's the other weird part about it too, because again, I've been in interviews where I've done an interview, like a pre-recorded interview, which this is, and then I've gotten a call from somebody, and they've been like, "Hey, actually, I don't want to say what I said. We were kind of in it, and I didn't really mean it. Do you mind pulling that out?" No problem. I'm not here to, make an asshole out of you or whatever. So if he told the story and then afterwards she would have been like, "Hey, I actually would prefer it if that wasn't a part of the story," I'm sure the guy would have been like, "Yeah, okay, we got plenty." Like we're giving a profile of Bill Belichick and his life post Patriots. You're a part of it. You're not the whole thing. We'll pull it out. No big deal. Who gives a shit if you don't want to say how, they met. But to just like jump in there in that second and be like, we're not talking about this, seems like, I don't know. There's something going on here.
Also, but you got to take into a fact that maybe she's not versed on how interviews go like that. I mean, she's 24. Anybody at that age doesn't know the ins and outs of how to say, hey, listen, we're not going to put this let's not put this in the interview.
Yeah, 24. She's not versed on anything, to be honest with
you.
you.
I'm saying. So you never know if she's just like, oh, no. But why? I don't understand why, since it's out there. Maybe she put it out there without his knowledge, and he doesn't know. he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't know.
Because he's not one for. I mean, you heard in the clip he joined InstaFace. He calls it InstaFace. This is a fucking 74-year-old man, 73-year-old man. He's not on. She's posting these pictures of him. She's doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going on there. So
I'm not saying that's wrong. Like he's probably like, hey, open a thing for me and run it. Put pictures and make it, make me relevant in today's culture. So I'm sure that's probably part of it.
Yeah, I who the hell knows, and why they wouldn't have an answer for that?
Yeah.
Even if it's a lie, why don't you have an answer for that question?
Mutual friends. Oh, okay. Like that's the easiest answer to that. How'd you guys meet? Mutual friends. Nobody's asking a follow up.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Better the party. Great.
Yeah. You're basically saying this story is so fucking boring. Okay. Mutual friends. Everybody's gonna be like, okay, great.
Yeah. They probably won't even include it in the interview because it's so boring.
Right. Exactly. And in the interview, if he really wanted to be like, he'd be like, hey, why are you banging a fucking person 49 years your junior? Isn't that a little weird? That's the question to ask.
He could have hit them with that. And then what's their answer?
Unless they met on like grandpadate.com or something. Like maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Is JSAB's site up and running? Good for her.
I couldn't think of anything. All I thought of was J date. I just all right. Let's put grandpa in instead.
Grandpa date works, I guess.
Yeah. What are the other ones? Bumblebee.
Thank you, Paul. JSABs is so jelly. That's why I gave me the JSABs idea. But what are you saying?
I was gonna say, like, what are the others? I don't even know what the other sites are.
Oh, there's eHarmony. Like talking about dating sites.
Yeah.
eHarmony. There's Match. There's
Tinder,
I guess. There's that one where the thing that
could we create Gramper instead of Tinder?
Gramps.
Hey, Gramper might be something. That put that on the board for JSABs. Name her Gramper.
Gramper. Are you on Gramper?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, that works for Grindr too. If you got old gay grandpas and you wanted to hook up with one of them, you go to Gramper.
Gramper. It's all up there.
It's all there. Or maybe Grampy. Yeah. Is Grampy better than Gramper?
Grampy.
I don't know.
Good question. I don't know. E-Grampany?
E-Grampany. E-Grampany. EAARP? No, that's nothing. Christian Mingle. Trying to think what works there. I don't know. We should have thought about this ahead of time. That would have been great.
Too bad we don't write for this show.
Yeah. We could just do it now on the show and it'll sound great in the clips.
There you go. Just give us 5 minutes to just think. And then we'll edit this 5 minutes out.
We'll take it out in post. Don't anybody worry about it. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. I don't like how bossy and rude she is. I don't like how he's totally robbing the cradle here, and it's totally like
gross.
And he's so fucking gross. I'm sorry. I apologize to JSABs and all people like her, but this guy is just a fucking old human booger. Like, look, he's on. He knows he's on a show, right? He's wearing the shirt with the hole. Like, this is his thing too. He loves.
Hole? I thought it was a microphone. It's
total hole. Yeah. Total.
Oh my god, dude.
He's worn that shirt for like 40 years. He does the same. He like does cut off, like on game day. He always wears like slouchy, weird clothes.
Yeah, that's
like
the original Old Navy.
Yeah. Oh,
thank you.
That's where Old Navy got. They saw that shirt and they're like, "Damn, wait a second, I got an idea."
Yeah.
That's fucking great. That's really good. All right, there's no reason to try and top that. That's it. But anyway, I'm just saying,
Wrap that up.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that. That's weird. It's weird. I don't know what's
The whole
happening
thing
there.
is weird.
I got problems with both of them in this scenario. I don't like both of what they're doing. I'm a little concerned with it because the other thing too is he's 73, so he's literally 2 to 3 years away from her just totally having to take care of him. You know, and
That's it. 75. You're an invalid already.
Oh, I think so. For him, yeah,
That's
because
messed up.
he's. I don't know. I just feel like you spend all that time on like Jughead Sports, like your brain goes to mush.
I mean, did he play football?
I don't think he. I mean, maybe he played a little bit, but it's his coaching career, even as an assistant, was so lauded and praised that if he played for a year or two somewhere, nobody fucking remembers because from the time he was an assistant to the time he became a head coach, everybody just talked about what a coaching genius he was.
Right.
So he could have played college ball somewhere or whatever. Who the fuck knows?
You know how? I mean, if you're Bill Belichick, you know how you coach, and I think his whole strategy was, hey, what's his name?
Tom Brady.
Hey, Brady, throw the ball to Gronk, get a touchdown. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna? What do you? That's what I always wondered about professional sports. Like, are you teaching them anything more than they know? Maybe the rookies, but like, heck, can you coach Mickey Mantle?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't think so. Like,
can you really tell? Oh, Mick, don't. Maybe you got to run that out. You got to put your glove on the ground and get those ground. Oh, okay. Thanks, coach. I'll remember that. It's Mickey Mantle. He's not going to fuck up that you could teach him anything. You're not going to be able to teach him anything.
Right. Yeah.
Babe Ruth. Who's teaching him how to swing? I'm not. He's not. The hitting coach is going to be like, everybody just watch Babe Ruth swing. I don't know what to tell you. Just look at him.
Yeah, like you look at like Aaron Judge, right? He's been hitting 1 million home runs for the Yankees. Can the hitting coach even walk? I mean, get the fuck
What are
away
they telling him?
Yeah, he's Aaron. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, I don't need to work with you. I'm going to work with Joe Schmo over here and get his hitting a little better. Aaron Judge, I don't need to see you. You go do what you got to do.
And what's that hitting coach doing besides telling all the other players, let's watch this at bat for Aaron Judge and let's see if you can't do do the same thing he's doing. You
guys good at impressions? Yeah. Anybody? Just do your best impression of Aaron Judge, and we'll be good. We'll be halfway decent.
Baseball, all right.
Oh, by the way, I got these cheating bats. Anybody want a cheating bat?
Football is a little different because you have to design plays. So the person who designs plays, which is not necessarily always
not the head coach, right?
Well, the offensive coordinator most of the time. A lot of the time, it depends.
How many people does it? That always pissed me off about football too. There's like 1 million people involved in this one team. Like, whatever happened to coach, assistant coach, defense, offense, and like that's it. Like they got like people up in the fucking stands with headsets, and you got all these people. It's like, why don't we have a small population of a city run each team,
basically,
and then that's what's going on. Like, how many people do you need to run one team?
There's more coaches on an NFL coaching staff than that poor little town in Japan that's suffering from people leaving.
Yeah, we can use more Muppets coaching. I don't care.
Oh, that'd be the best.
Oh, Muppet football league would be great.
Could you imagine if they flash up to the booth in an NFL game and it's just Weekend at Bernie guy just fucking with glasses just sitting there, headset on?
Instead of the NFL, it's the MFL. It's just a Muppet league. That'd be See, if the Muppets got into sports, I'd watch a Muppet baseball game.
I would love that. You
know, they're doing the comedy thing. They do their movies. I want to see the Muppets go to the World Series. That's what I want to see.
That would be nice. They made a Muppet movie not too long ago, and did it do okay?
Okay. It was written by Jason Segel.
Yeah, he's a Muppet.
He was in it. It's all right. It wasn't great. I mean, the main character was this new Muppet that nobody'd ever heard of, and that was the point, I guess. But you know, if the main character is not Kermit or Gonzo or someone, exactly.
Are we old men though? I heard a thing that Elmo has like a dog now, and like that's the new thing, like Elmo's dog.
I don't know. I'm not keeping up with Sesame Street.
I'm looking at that like going, I'm still not accepting Elmo. Okay, I still have a fucking problem.
Elmo's a little too nude for me.
Still new kid on the block, that red motherfucker. Okay, I can't be
been there for like 40 years. No.
Yeah. Bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
it's fucking
It's the Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Snuffleupagus, and a few of the humans, and that's it.
Right? Yeah. Get away from me with Elmo and his fucking iPad technology, trying to show everybody how to do shit. Okay, I can't have it.
No good.
Uncle analog Muppet, scene.
What?
Muppet pole vaulting? I don't know. I always got distracted.
Yeah, Muppet Sports. You get all this. I think the Muppets could get into like a Mighty Ducks movie, but with Muppets would be great.
Okay, you know how I could tell as a podcast, us and everybody has gone too far when Kermit the Cuck comes out within seconds of the Muppets being brought up. That's how. This is one of those moments where I feel like maybe we've gone too far as a community together. I feel.
We need to take a breather from each other for a day or two.
Yeah, are we causing more harm than good at this point? I don't know.
That's really up to you guys, up to your individual capacity, what you're able to take.
Kermit the Cuck is brilliant. It came out very fast. It just came out. It was like loaded and ready to go.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. That's all I got, Frankie. C, you got anything? Any other?
I think that's a good show.
I think we did it. Yeah. And under 2 hours. So take that.
Not bad.
Yeah. Pretty good. Fucking button's not working. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's a Monday.
Yeah. Make sure you pick up Oval. The book Oval, written by Arent C. Wonderful book. Great, great read.
The cat stole my book, Frank.
Oh, shit. The evil cat.
Nope.
The cat thingy. There's the book. Oval. Wonderful book. Link in the description below. You can buy it on Amazon, or you can download a digital copy on Amazon as well. It's a great book written by Arent C. herself, and highly recommend it. Please pick up your copy today. Appreciate it.
When the Muppets come and start fishing off of this pier here, it really gets emotional. So just bear in mind.
Get a box of tissues ready for that.
Yeah. And then not to blow it, but in the last chapter, when they pick a new pope, oh my God, you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked.
Gets wild.
But Ray Fiennes is good. Ray Fiennes is going to kill it in Oval the movie. I'm so fucking excited.
All right.
Oh my God, it's going to be
the best. Anybody. He can play anybody.
He could play my murderer in a movie, and I'd be like, "This is good. This is really great."
Interesting take.
All right, we'll catch you Wednesday.
Meat potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.